Plans next weekend? Plans next weekend? Bring a wheelbarrow or a shovel. We got pizza and beer. The shovel, pizza and beer party. I know.
Who's your daddy?
We're all live streaming and recording.
Thank you.
Well, my first time.
Yeah. All right, Jeff. Whenever you're ready.
All right, I'd like to call the infrastructure meeting for June to order. Roll call. Mayor Rosenquist,
Here.
myself, I'm here. Councillor Talon,
And here.
Councillor Kelly,
Here.
all present and accounted for. At this point, entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion or changes? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Now move on to environmental draft resolution, authorize WRRF dewatering upgrades contract 1E Triangle Electric change order E1.
You want to go back? Counselor Moore, I don't know what, sorry, Counselor Moore. There's item 2, which is public works.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I somehow printed out May 2nd.
okay. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
Well, we already did that one.
Okay,
So
so,
why I ended up with May 2nd. All right.
You want Mike to run it or?
yeah, no. So Counselor Moore, just to go off of the current agenda, the item 2.1 is a public works discussion on the infrastructure report.
Okay, well, I guess that I have the wrong information here. Mr. Mayor, would you mind chairing this meeting? Because
Yeah, no, that's no big deal. That's fine. Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2.1, discussion on infrastructure report.
Okay, well, we'll start the report. I obviously submitted, and the number 1 item is obviously emergency water main repairs on the base. So Kansas, Kentucky, Maine, Massachusetts, obviously we had a rash of water main breaks. That was 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I guess. Everything is back together. System is fully pressurized, with the exception of one small section. We have 3 valves that are not completely open, but everyone is under full water supply. Boil water is off. And that's a good news. Everything seems to be stable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the meantime, we've been working diligently about coming up with a plan, both working with our environmental manager, John Ruff, to help us with some funding streams to help pay for some of these repairs that are coming up, and also how we're going to perform the work. We've procured the materials. Purchase orders have been written. We've lined up contractors, and we have a tentative start date right after the 4th of July. The work encompasses both T&M work and also the New York Road water main replacement, which we had approved previously, which it did. We are going to continue working on this. We still have some coordination issues to work through with Lake Country Village and the residents out there, explaining to them what's going to happen and when it's going to happen to the best of our abilities.
And we're meeting with them when?
We have not set that meeting yet, but we will be setting up it very shortly. The other person we'll have to talk to will be the town of Plattsburgh, which is going to work with us to provide us some temporary water from their supply, so we can get the new lines tested and chlorinated. So we have a sequence that we came up with that. And we'll be talking with them in more detail. We've reached out to them and they're going to work with us. And then the final part of this will be the health department. We've met with them already. They do approve of what we're doing. We have an engineer on board that has put together a rough set of plans, but loosely based on what we're doing at New York Road. Is there any questions about where we're at so far?
So with New York Road plus the 20,000 feet of AC pipe replacement, we're looking right around 23,000 feet of pipe replacement, correct? Okay,
Yes.
for the procurement that we made on the materials and then the subsequent work to follow. Correct. And as Mike mentioned, we are looking to book a meeting with the Lake Country Village HOA leadership to give them a pretty good rundown of what's happening, where we're at today, maybe give them a brief overview of how we got here, and then work very closely with them to create a timeline and communication schedule moving forward. They've been, every single time I talk to them, nothing but accolades and appreciation for the work that these folks have done and the response that the city has had, including the emergency measure to bond the emergency $10 million to get this work started. So they've had nothing but very, very positive things to say about the work that we've done.
I mean, the most critical thing at this time is to keep the water on out there. And we do have it back on. And it's safe and it's reliable as it can be for the time being. This next sequence, like I said, is going to take some patience on the residents' part and also on ours. I'm sure we're going to cover some stuff that we're not aware of. Best, I'd like to say that we know exactly what's in the ground out there, but we don't. It seems like every time we dig out there, we find something that the Air Force left behind for us. So
Maybe we'll find a treasure chest.
maybe we'll find a treasure chest. But we're gonna be as prepared as possible. And like I said, all of us here at Public Works and also, like I said, our environmental manager, John Ross, we're working, trying to cover all the bases to make sure we're prepared for this project. With no other questions, we'll move on. These are current operational activities. We're still working athletic fields, parks, beach, conditioning fields, getting ready for events, spring cleanup. We're fast approaching summer here, so we're still working on a lot of that. Pothole repair, that's everyone's favorite. Moving our way throughout the city and trying to get there as quickly as possible. The winter water main repairs, lower report is complete. Councilor Talon asked just a minute ago about Oak Street. That's one, once we get things squared away out of base, we still have a section of water line we need to replace, and we'll be doing it in the house on Oak Street, between Clinton and Corbin. Street sweeping is ongoing. We're actually gaining on that pretty nicely. One of the other items that was a big item for this year that I was hoping to do was cleaning and televising the sewers. We did have a sewer backup at one of the restaurants on Route 3, which was on the restaurant, but we did succeed in cleaning the whole upper Cornelius section and cammering it. That's always been a trouble spot because of the restaurants that we call Restaurant Row. We worked our way through that, cleaned it, televised it, and we're moving on to other trouble areas and trying to get that program going. And then we're prepping for road resurfacing projects. We were prepared to pave 3 roads out on the base. I think it's Louisiana, Iowa Circle, and Kansas. Obviously, if we're going to be out there putting water line in, we're going to put a pause on that. Hopefully, if everything goes well, we'll get those resurfaced later in the season after the water line is in. In the meantime, we prep for Bridge Street, starting over on Hamilton, coming around the corner and bringing us right to the bridge. That will be the week of June 21st, 20th, well, yeah, 21st. Yeah. So, and that will be night work. So hopefully to inconvenience people as least as possible. Capital projects.
The hill, we had the hill on our schedule.
The hill's on our schedule, but right now we're going to focus efforts just on probably second line, depending on how we go. So sometime in late July and August. What we're shooting for. Capital projects, obviously the base emergency water line replacement, scheduling buyout, Kogan Ave, final punch list. I think we're still waiting on signals.
Signalization is the last part of the project. Everything else has been complete. Line striping got completed last week. Just waiting for head pull, push buttons. I guess are pretty hard to find right now. The subcontractor for Lock Brothers says he's got more really just waiting for him to arrive.
New York Road, we awarded it, and we're gonna have a pre-con meeting hopefully before the end of the week. We have met with the contractor already prior to award, and he is prepared to get the ground running, so that's critical for us. Beekman Street and Margaret Street are both in, Beekman Street quite a ways along in design, and Margaret Street, obviously, we just awarded that, and design has been requested. DPW staffing, we did hire some seasonal temporaries. We are actually 2 of the 3 we hire starting tomorrow. So they'll be at the beach and working with the grounds crews. And then the only other openings we currently have is public works maintenance 1, and we're performing interviews at this time. Miscellaneous stuff, heat pump pricing. I should have some prices to do heat pump units for a couple more sections of City Hall shortly. Bridge Street resurfacing, as we talked about before, and then the water main replacement work. So that's what's happening in public works.
GPS update?
For truck tracking?
Yep.
So we have everything going through, all of our trucks are activated through the Verizon reveal. So we can actively track those trucks. We are working with a company called Snowpass, and they are developing our plowing routes and our garbage and sweeping runs. So they are currently doing that as well.
Garbage receptacles.
They're on order. I would think they're going to be about 2 or 3 more weeks out.
Okay.
For phase 1.
Okay. The ones that, the compact ones. We have the compact.
We have the one I'm talking about the actual switching over to the totes based.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
the totes, yeah.
The garbage totes for phase 1 of implementing those. The first batch should be actually about 2-3 weeks out. The compactor can, we're ready to put that.
And then one other thing that I've asked Mike to price out are high-vis traffic control crosswalks, the kind that we see on SUNY campus that light up on demand for our Broad Street crossings. There's 2 major crossings on Broad Street that are mostly uncontrolled. If you've ever tried to cross the street at, I believe it's Helen and Broad and William and Broad, you will have a heck of a time trying to do that. So I would like to get some pricing and some controlled signs on order for those 2 specific crossings. I think it's a fair thing to do. Not only that, but then some type of traffic calming sign on Oak Street. I know we've had a number of complaints on Oak Street from people after Oak Street School, just 55 miles an hour from the school out to the highway. Try to get some traffic calming signs that light up with the speed limit that indicate the speed limit there and how fast somebody's going.
Yeah, I think our best option there would be the radar signs. We have a message board with the radar on them. We were going to try to put them out to help train people. I know we put them out at North Margaret. And we had some complaints about people getting into the city, and it's an awful long straight run. And they do work. They slow them down. We've used them on New York Road at school, by Seton School, but they're so large I cannot position them on Oak Street to put them out. I think that what you see down Ruger Street up by the high school, they have that radar sign that's a little more compact. I think something like that where it notifies people what their speed is, that tends to get their attention along with police enforcement.
They actually have, a lot of them now have a flashing light on them that really, it gets your attention, makes you slow down to get that flashing light to stop.
But those are, short of that, I don't know of any other types of signs that would encourage people. I know what makes me slow down, and that's flashing lights tend to do that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any questions? Jeff, any questions for Mr. Bissett? No? Okay, item 3.1, draft resolution authorizing bid for contract WRF 2022-5 hauling of sludge for the wharf. Motion? Take a motion, Councilor Talon, second by Councilor Moore. Discussion.
So we're recommending award of the contract to Wind River Environmental, doing business as John Mack Septic, which is our existing hauler, for almost $246,000. That's about a 50% increase, $80,000 increase, mostly attributed to fuel costs. We sent the bid out to, I think, 11 potential haulers, plus advertised in the paper, and we only got the one bid. So recommending that we award that. Sometime later in the year, we're going to add up the increased costs that we're expecting for this year based on chemicals being more expensive and fuel and all that. We'll be putting together a comprehensive picture of where we're at. Hopefully we'll be spending less than we budgeted, but there might be a budget adjustment needed later on. That $80,000 increase, we'll only see 40,000 of that this year because we're halfway through the year.
Any explanation as to why? Is it just the price of fuel and price of chemicals?
Yeah, that's most of it. And when we put this out for bid, we do it for a year with, I think, up to 4 renewals. So this company's been hauling for 5 years and they've renewed every time with no increases. So if we'd been having some increases along the way, it already would have been working its way up there. I think also finding workers. They need to pay more than they have in the past. So all that factored in puts us where we're at.
I like their name, Wind River.
Yeah. Especially when they're hauling sludge.
You said it, not me.
You shoot it up though.
Stay up, River.
This meeting's really so much fun.
Thank you very much.
Any further
John.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. I will now take a motion to go into executive session to talk about matters of employment. Yep. Motion by Councilor Kelly, second by Councilor Talon. We're now enter executive session. We will give you a call, Jeff, if you want to jump on the phone with Mike. And yeah, and we'll just join John in his office. Your office.
That's right. So now that you did stop recording. Yeah. This so is. Yeah. They can't do that. Oh. So what do you do? So what do you do? They have to stop. So then when, let's just say the meeting is done, my review is, you know how it comes up. You know how when you are ready to get out of Zoom meeting, you just hit end meeting. Yeah. Like when you're done Zoom meeting, hit end meeting, it's a red. Right. It'll say end meeting for all, and you just hit end and you're done, and you don't have to do anything else. It's turned on to YouTube, it's turned on to recording. Just shut up. And just shut everything else down. Just shut this down, log off like you would normally on a computer, Oh, so that's what's easy, it's easy, you just took it, you don't know, planning as soon as he said returns. Well, it's not too bad. No, all right, but like, I like it now, because it's all one thing, you don't have to put that in. It's called,
Yeah.
the big thing.
Oh, good. Yeah, but, okay, so I'll try to do Mondays then.
So
So,
you'll be the whole time, so.
okay. I mean, I say so, but.
But you holding my hand. Thank you, Beth.
Okay, no, thank you.
No, thank you. Yeah. All for your boxes.
Fine, good. This weekend. Not much. All the laundry. We've been gone so much. Like,
Yes. How did your son's thing go?
yes, I'm doing well. It's, assignment doesn't start till June 29th, so it's been.
They sent it to Africa?
No. He's been going to a lot of his friends' ordinations like we have, and a couple extra that people we didn't know.
Gotcha.
He's finally home today for 2 weeks, and then he'll go to the last one in Washington, with his last friend that's getting ordained. We're going to that one.
Is he staying here locally?
Yeah, he's got assigned to Morrisonville, Katyville parishes.
So
St. Alexander, yeah, and Katyville and Peru, I think there's 3 of them.
Yeah, he's got St. Alexander.
St. Augustine.
He got Keysville.
No, Keysville is still under,
He took Keysville out.
yeah, because Keysville's still with Father Lozon. So he has Keysville and I'll say, well, no, one of those up in by Wilmington or Lake Placid or something, not Lake Placid, but
He's got Peru.
Morrisonville.
Yeah.
Katy, yeah. I'm like, oh, good, Jared, oh, man, you know, all that stuff.
And to get to use the sermons.
Can you just record one and just hit play?
Is he the kind that just wings them, or does he actually? Like,
Oh, no, he does a really good homily, but it drives my husband crazy because he can write one in like an hour or 2 hours, and he doesn't need a lot of time. James is going to have to be doing it for weeks. Keep, you know, spell checking, or not, they keep revising it and stuff, but Legan can do it like in a couple of hours, not even. It depends. So he's fresh out of seminary too, so he's had, you know, a few years of intense study to be able to refer to things.
Yeah. Well, that was like best for the life experiences.
And relate it to you, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like his first homily with Deacon, he started it with like 14 feet 6 inches, and what he was saying was he used to be an altar server, and he measured from where he used to sit as an altar server to where he stood to the homily, and it was really kind of neat how we correlated that. Yeah. Everybody was like looking at him like, what are you saying 14 feet 7 inches for? And that was because that's the amount I've come since I was in 4th grade.
Those are the ones that always
Yeah.
hold your attention and get you.
Yeah, exactly. But my husband, you know, my husband owns 185 Margaret Street, and he has a vacant office if you know anybody that needs an office downtown. So that's where he's got all his stuff. He has chairs. He goes to antique places. He loves antique. He's got chairs and little end tables that he had in his room at school. I'm like, where do you think you're putting all that? It's not putting in a house.
So where's his residence?
That's a rectory in Morrisonville.
Rectory, Morrisonville?
So hopefully you have a nice big room in there, because you have a lot of junk.
Well, they typically, used to have pretty substantial, like, full houses. Yeah, Father Lowe, which is my wife's uncle. He had a, well, big old house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Was he, oh, that's right, he was there one.
Yeah.
He has, usually they now, is like as they're renovating them and stuff, they usually make, like they have a bedroom, a sitting room and a bathroom all in there. They each have a suite.
Yeah.
So hopefully he has some room to put on his.
Heck, he's got a whole house that his father, Castle, like now. They had a big old house up there.
Yeah.
Father Martin, yeah, well.
Well, now they're doing more of where they use one rectory for several,
Several, yeah.
And
which
then
makes
renovate that
sense.
one.
I mean, it's expensive to.
Yeah. Maintain all the other.
Well,
Father Bouye there used to be principal of St. John's, and he took over because they were financial issues. And that's the first thing, there was a lot of those residences that were big, he shut down.
Yeah.
Too much to keep them.
Can't even do anything.
Yeah.
As we went down to Port Henry just when he was stationed there, and there, Port Henry also has Mariah, is it Mariah?
Yeah, right.
They can't live in that because it's too old and needs too much work, so they've closed that one too, like you said, just they're maintaining the one.
They call it a tie or something.
They're in, actually Port Henry. So I thought there was a
So they
different-
took close, right?
Well, they just closed the rectory, they still do one mass there on weekend. But he said, the father said it's not worth trying to stay there because it needs so much work, so they just stay there. Well, you're related to a saint, almost saint anyway. Actually, he is Saint Andre, he is Saint, yeah.
Yeah, well, I understand.
Yeah.
Not really the same.
You wish.
100%. Really? That's like that. Yeah. So they have first one out. It's 35 miles an hour. If you aren't going 30 mile an hour plus, there's just like it's like I tell people seizures. It's really annoying to the point where you just want to slow right down so you don't have to look that way.
One of the colleges doesn't seem to be working.
No, it's Spanish.
Oh,
Kids
yeah.
take baseball bats and throw stuff out the windows at it. They do work. I know they.
But I don't think we put that one in. That
No,
wasn't that
that's
college.
Subi's,
Yeah.
yeah. We actually, in the city, we don't own any of those.
Yeah.
What a GP was flashing on there, that's not ours, that's GP. Yeah. We, like I said, we can go there.
It is hard on Broad Street with the sun, you know, sometimes too, with kids trying to come across.
They, tell me about it. They cross wherever they want, half of them don't even use a crosswalk. Just be. And we pave a road, if somebody pave the road, yeah. To pave the road nice, go fast.
Can't win. Pave the road, you go fast. Don't pave the road, you go.
Well. Rough road surface, obviously people are slow down.
Mhm.
That is. that story. Reinforceable concrete steel. So it's- Concrete factory next door. So they're looking to approve. Couldn't have a business anymore. So that's how they got rid of this. So we built the field. And he drove it through the concrete factory, just trying everything. And then drove it through all the businesses that were owned by the council. And you're able to stop it. And going into a lot of businesses. And from the basement, couldn't get out. So it's. It's so weird. So, So actually, I put together my journal last night. And I ordered a bunch of stuff over here. Yeah. We probably won't bring it up there until. Yeah. So they had a bunch of really smaller babies. And you could basically roast it with full size feet. So. $75 plus. So about like $400 to get it actually. Kind of like small. Yeah. 18 by 18 by 24. There's the gallon. Yeah. This would be, that's not true. So this is my pet peeve here. That's a picture of something. Yeah. Stop. That's not that one. It's actually mostly today. So it's gonna take- so- Yeah. My mom was about this. Somewhat less than prospect area. Yes, that's true. Okay, so,
Was that so?
yeah.
I was hoping it was them coming back, but
That's-
not so much. Yeah. I can hear loud, John. Well, that's something. Turn this video off, so hopefully he's over. He sees them turn his video off.
I'll now take a motion to return from executive session. No action was taken. Motion by Counselor Kelly, second by Counselor Talon. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed. Now take a motion to, for a draft resolution authorizing ranking step adjustment chief water treatment plant operator. Motion. Counselor Talon, second by Counselor Kelly. Roll call. Or sorry, I'll just do an all in favor. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
Carried. Motion carries. Is there any new business to come before this committee? Seeing no one here for public comment, I'll now take a motion to adjourn.
I do have.
Oh, yeah,
a
please.
piece of
I'm
new
sorry.
business. I want, this is a great time to do it. Since we're an infrastructure meeting, but I've been walking the Saranac River Trail quite a bit, especially the new section, and it's real nice. But there's some problems with it, and I hope that it's not too late to contact the contractor and have them look at those issues. They are, among others, the asphalt in some parts of the trail is crumbling. And that's something you might expect to see at age 5 or age 6 rather than a brand new, piece of asphalt. And I'm not an expert at this. There may be a reason why it happened, but it looks as though if it continues, that it's going to be a big chore for DPW to rectify. And also I noticed that on the bridges themselves, there are thin lines, thin cracks. And it just leads me to believe that it won't be too long before those cracks are ruts. And it won't be too long after that, the whole thing crumbles and, it would require some major work. So I was hoping that we could contact the contractor and say, hey, guys, if we're not done with this project, please come back and take a look at those issues. Also, just minor landscaping issues. There's a lot of muddy spots, I should say. And in some places, those muddy spots are running over into the trail. So there's dirt and gravel on the trail as a result of this runoff. And
Part of the landscaping issue is part of the nice cleanup. And that access and riverbank off that, which might have contributed to some of the crumbs.
That is the problem, the asphalt.
So let us
that is true.
Let us investigate that, because that might be on the nice side, not so much the
Yes.
contractor.
If they're involved, and there are places on the trail where you can see ruts where they've put down their equipment.
Yeah, they put mats down, but they were driving excavators across the trail, so
Yeah.
I think that's done some damage to it.
Yeah, definitely contributes, but even on the other side of the river behind the police station, you'll also see some asphalt deterioration. So I would hope maybe the contractor would be willing to come back and make those things right, or NICEAG would be willing to make things right. So,
I'm doing a walk around with Mike tomorrow to identify some locations for those high compact garbage bins. I think we can walk down there and take a look and make some assessment on
The
it.
bridge deck issue, Mayor had contacted me months ago.
When you pointed out to me, I
Yeah.
passed it on.
okay.
And that would be an issue that we should bring up with the design engineer, because it's indicative of shrinkage cracking concrete, and there's no control joint. I don't, it might be part of the design, I had a design that didn't bridge deck, where they have no control joints in it. So we'll reach out to them first before, like I said, before we go to the contractor, we'll run some other options to ground.
That is a beautiful asset to our city. It makes us almost one of a kind in that regard. So, we want to protect that and take care of it. We also don't want to make it extremely burdensome for our DPW going forward. If it's done right in the first place, then you'll have a good basis for keeping it that way in the future. So thank you guys for listening.
Any new business? Seeing none, I will now take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Councilor Talon, second by Councilor Moore. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are now adjourned.